boys and girls. Last week's coffee mug on Thursday was Yellowstone, and here's this week. It's a teacher mug. I get some really nice mugs from my students. Okay, I hope you all had a great weekend. Wasn't it beautiful yesterday? So much sunshine, and hopefully we have more weather like that. So now we're going to read chapter 2 of Humphrey, Friendship According to Humphrey. And Humphrey is in a grass skirt today and has a lei on. So here we go. Chapter 12, Party Hearty. That week there was plenty of chatter about Richie's upcoming birthday. All that excitement gave me a wiggle in my whiskers and a pounding in my heart. What was this big surprise Richie talked about all the time? On Friday, Mrs. Brisbane announced that Richie would be taking me home for the weekend. Yay! Humphrey's coming to the party too, AJ yelled. I'd never been to a party outside of room 26 before. Overjoyed, I jumped on my wheel and spun as fast as I could. Boing! Og croaked. Oops. I realized that Og had not been invited to the party. What about Og? Asked Richie. Can he come too? Mrs. Brisbane shook her head. I think you have all you can handle. Besides, I'm taking Og home with me. My husband is working on a surprise for him. Eek! I squeaked. It just slipped out. Mr. Brisbane, whom I hadn't even seen since Christmas, was working on a surprise for the frog. I could feel that green-eyed monster inside me again. I was jealous of a large lump with a ghastly grin, and I wasn't proud of myself. Richie was hopping from one foot to another like a frog by the time his mom came to pick him up after school. We're going to Party Hearty, Humphrey, he shouted. Try to relax, Richie, Mrs. Rinaldi told him as we got in the car. If we're going to have this party, you'll have to calm down. The Rinaldi house was in quite an uproar that night. First of all, there were so many aunts, uncles, grandmas, and grandpas there, I wasn't sure which was which. Everyone was hustling around, moving chairs and putting up decorations in the basement or bustling around the kitchen cooking. As busy as they were, they all managed to stop and say, Hi, Humphrey, or Isn't he cute? Uncle Aldo and his wife Maria stopped by to help. When Aldo announced he was starting college again, his relatives slapped him on the back and said, Way to go! They were as happy about it as I was. On Saturday morning, there was even more commotion as Richie's family hurried up and down the stairs, preparing for the party. Aldo and Maria came back to help. Early in the morning, Aldo put on a top hat and picked up my cage. Okay, Humphrey, time for us to party on. He carried my cage downstairs to the basement. What sights I saw there! The ceiling was covered with balloons of every color. Along the walls were brightly colored booths made out of big cardboard boxes. A circle of chairs surrounded a large platform. Happy circus music was playing, and I could smell popcorn and lemonade. Aldo set my cage on a big table and said, Welcome to Richie Rinaldi's Crazy Carnival. Step right up, one and all. Soon my friends from room 26 made their way down the stairs. Gail and Heidi, not together of course, Kirk, Garth, Mandy, Sae, AJ, and Art, Seth, and Tabitha. As soon as Sae saw Tabitha arrive, she hurried over to greet her. Oh, I'm glad you came, she said. Then down the stairs came Marty. Marty? I blinked hard and looked again. Sure enough, Martin Bean, the guy who's really mean, was right there in Richie's basement. My mom made me invite him, I heard Richie tell Garth. He's in my Sunday school class. There's school on Sunday, too? Gee, you learn something new every day. The kids all put brightly wrapped presents on a table. Most of them said hello to me. Then Aldo said, Step right up and play the most amazing games on earth. Each of the booths along the wall featured a different activity. Richie's dad had a booth where the kids tossed rings at empty soda bottles. If 3 rings landed over the bottles, you got a pink ticket. Cousin Mark's booth featured a game where you threw a small basketball through a hoop. You got a pink ticket for each basket made. In Grandpa Rinaldi's booth, you had to knock little bowling pins down with a ball. If you knocked them all down, you got a pink ticket. Closest to me was Maria's booth. She had a flowered scarf on her head and a big glass ball in front of her. "Come to hear Madame Maria tell your fortune," she called to the crowd. Madame Maria told Mandy that in the future she would eat much popcorn. I think she already had. Then Maria told Kirk that in the future he would have a lot of fun. Kirk always does. There was so much noise in Richie's basement, I was tempted to go into my sleeping house for some peace and quiet. But I didn't want to miss any of the fun. Then, I noticed someone not having fun. Heidi Hopper was on her way to the basketball booth when Big Mean Bean stood in front of her, blocking her way. She moved to the right to go around him. Marty moved to the right and blocked her. "What's your hurry?" he asked in a nasty voice. Heidi moved to the left to go around him. Marty moved to the left and blocked her. "Say the magic word," said Marty. "Please," Heidi said in a soft voice. "Can't hear you." "Please." Heidi spoke much louder now. Marty sneered. "That's not the magic word. Guess again." Once again, Heidi tried to go around him and he stopped her. She was almost in tears. This was unsqueakable behavior. "Let her go," I yelled. Not that anyone could hear a small hamster over all the hubbub. Suddenly Gail appeared out of nowhere. "Stop it, Marty," she said, and she pushed him out of the way. She grabbed Heidi's hand and pulled her towards the fortune-telling booth. "Come on, Heidi." Marty stood there with his mouth wide open. I could hardly believe what I'd seen myself. First of all, I thought Gail was mad at Heidi. Second of all, no younger kid had ever dared to push Marty before, especially not a girl. Gail's a lot stronger than she looks. "Yoo-hoo! Ladies, fortune's told. Let Madame Maria tell you what your future will bring." Heidi and Gail looked at one another. "Step this way," Maria called to them. The 2 girls scurried over to her booth and sat down as Maria stared into the glass ball. "You will be best friends forever," Maria predicted. "Hooray!" Heidi and Gail looked happy with their fortune. As they walked away, I heard Gail say, "I'm sorry I said you were a cheater. I was wrong." "I'm sorry I called you a crybaby," said Heidi.